Okay. Whew. Got a little nervous there for a second. I didn't know if this was going to broadcast. Oh my gosh. Good evening, everybody. I am Reverend Sherri James. I'm the senior minister of Understanding Principles Church. I'm going to put my phone on silent there. And I am the creator of the Metaphysical Bible Hangout. And I am so excited to be here tonight. We are about to get into one of my favorite conversations. I call it the red pill, blue pill conversation. It is, well, it's just deep. That's just the way it is. It is a deep conversation. I'll pull up a quote here so I can um, have it handy. But one of my movie. Well, no, there's also The Incredibles, but okay, anyway. So Inception and The Matrix. Oh, hold on, I got some folk I got to bring in. Um, Bear with me, guys. I'm just bringing some people in live to the conversation. When you come into the conversation, if you can mute yourself too. Um, all right. How are we doing? Marvin. There's Marvin. And Devon, I think it's Devon or Devon. Forgive me if I mispronounce it. I see you there. I just hit the button to bring you in as a speaker. So make sure. Um, okay, you're invited in as a speaker. Okay, great. Let's go to the chat room. All right, chat room is there. Okay. Let's do come in. All right. So what's happening? Devin, I still see you there. I'm inviting you in as a speaker. I'm not sure what's creating a problem for you to come in as a speaker, but I have put the invitation out. Hey, Marvin. Hey, Gina. Good to see you guys. Hey, Carolyn, my teacher, Carolyn Scribner. That's not what I want. I want to mute some folk here. Okay, great. Um, all right. Here's the link to join live. Let me do that. Bear with me, guys. All right. I just put the link in there, Devin. You should see the link. Because some reason I'm trying to invite you in as a speaker and it's not bringing you in, but I'm definitely putting the link there. So if you click on that link, you should be able to come in. All right, so let's get started because this is my favorite conversation. I am a fan of The Matrix, and if anybody has seen that movie, it's like it sums up like all of New Thought in a nice little neat fictional package with Neo and Morpheus, and it's futuristic and it's wonderful. And so this conversation tonight is the game changer for a lot of people. And it's why you can't call someone like a T.D. Jakes or a Joel Osteen or whomever a New Thought minister, meaning they borrow from New Thought teachings, but this is really kind of where the rubber meets the road. And it is this conversation of what is real and what is fake. So I'm going to just jump right in, pull up my little PowerPoint, and let's get started. I want to go over the outline for where we're going tonight. So the first thing, I just have a couple of announcements. We'll do our opening prayer. We'll talk about why spiritual identity matters. We'll look at what are you. We'll talk about what is real, what is fake, the real world versus the fake world. And then we'll talk about why is it so hard to believe in the real world, and look at the 6 reasons that we hold on to our belief in the fake world. And then we'll take Q&A. Please feel free to ask your questions. I'll do my best to check the chat room so that I can answer your questions as they come up, and hopefully I won't miss anybody's questions, because I know that this is a topic that is controversial, but I'm up to the challenge, and so hopefully, if spirit willing, I will clarify it for you. Not so much convince you, because quite honestly, I'm not looking to convince you to believe anything. This understanding who and what God is to you is a very personal thing. You've got to go to Spirit for yourself. And the only thing that I can give you is my interpretation, my opinion, and my experience. That's it. And one of the things that Charles Fillmore said, and it's a wonderful quote. Charles Fillmore at the time was studying the Rosicrucians, he was studying the Theosophists, he was studying the Transcendentalists, he had been studying with E.B. Weeks, he had been studying the works of Phineas P. Quimby, the works of Anton Mesmer, Mary Baker Eddy, all of these incredible thinkers, not to mention a whole host of ones I haven't even mentioned that. If you read his writings, you can see that those influences in there. And what he started to notice was that there were contradictions. Like one person would say one thing one way and another person would say it another way, and it was like they were butting up against one another. And the only through line was that there was a God within. That was the only through line that he could see consistently across all the different teachers. And what he said, and this is a paraphrase, but you can find this quote in the Essential Fillmore, is that if this God is who they say it is, and I am made of the same substance that this God is made of, then I can go to headquarters for myself. And that's the attitude that you have to take. I can go to headquarters for myself. You've got to get to the place where I got to get this for myself. This is some exciting stuff. I remember when I first got into New Thought, I was like, this is the teaching. I love this. I can do this for the rest of my life. I'm doing it for the rest of my life. But in order to make it work, you've got to go to God for yourself. You've got to move past the point where you are listening to teachers, and you've got to listen to the God presence within you. So this is fun. This is what I would call spiritual entertainment. I have a ball every Thursday night. I love you guys for showing up. I'm grateful for that. But the real deal is that you got to go to God for yourself. You've got to go to that indwelling spirit, the Christ within. That's the term that I use for it. You can pick any term you want to. There is no name for it. It's just the name you give it. There's no roll checker at the door of your consciousness saying, you know, do you believe Jesus is your Lord and Savior? You know, do you believe he was born of a virgin? Ain't none of that. All you're going to find is peace and quiet and love and joy and no names. So the names are just for you. It's just for you so you can articulate what's happening in you through you. But you've got to go to God for yourself. So I want to make that clear because we can get head over heels and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over the names and things that we call stuff. All right, Andre, I'm trying to bring you in. I see you with your hand up. Let me try this one more time. If not, I put a link in the chat to bring in. And Carolyn, I don't know if you can see the chat, but Bruce said Carolyn is my teacher too. We all study with Carolyn Scribner, and we are better for it. All right. Yes. Uh-huh. Oh, is anybody else? Is it frozen for anybody else?
No, it's fine over here.
Okay, all right. I'm praying because sometimes I get a little frozen video, so I'm just knowing that it's going to work out. Harold says no problem on his end, but you can hear me though, Linda, right? Even if the video is frozen. Okay, all right. Google Hangout. All right. I thought I had found the whole. I thought I had found the Holy Grail with the webinar jam. All right. So 6 reasons we hold on to our belief in the fake world, and then the Q&A. All right. If you want to follow along on the blog, I wrote a companion piece on the blog, and you can visit revsherri.com. It has the same title as tonight's discussion, which is Can You Tell the Real from the Fake? I think there's a line of the song, Can You Tell the Real? It's like a Brandy song. Anyway, Webinar Jam is our platform. If you are watching this and you just found me through a search on YouTube and you want to know when future ones are coming up or you want to join live, please make sure you go over to revsherri.com, sign up for my newsletter, and you can stay in the loop. I send out the link to join each week for the live session, and you get that, and we come and have fun together. The scriptures for this 9-part series, there are two. John 10:34, is it not written in your law? I said you are gods. And Genesis 1:26, let us make humankind in our image according to our likeness and let them have dominion. And I chose these two verses because this whole series is about taking a deep dive into your divinity. So my purpose is to wake you up to your divinity. That's my inborn purpose. It is to wake people up to their innate divinity in order for you to become like a child. And I said this to someone because when I finally got that revelation, it was like, okay, I know it's the innate divinity, but for what purpose? And it is to become like a little child. Because not putting away your wisdom is valuable, but it's getting back to that space of wonder where everything is brand new again. Yes, you've seen it before, but in this moment it's brand new for you. And I see that when I work with Jordan. And this morning we were out at Hahamongna Watershed Park in Altadena or Pasadena, one of those Dina cities, and everything was just brand new to him. The rocks, the trees, there was this just wonder. And we've been to this park before, so this isn't new, like new, but it's brand new every time he approaches it. And so it is the same way that we're meant to approach life. And so the whole point of spiritual mastery, the whole point of waking up is to become like a little child so that you may enter the kingdom, not in some life after you leave this body, but in right now. That you can become like a little child where you are, where the joy of your unfettered imagination is restored to you. And that's my purpose. That's why I do this. That's why this Bible Hangout is here. That's why the blog posts are there. That's what I'm doing with Up Church. All of it is to bring you back to who you are. And who you are is spirit. Andrea, I'm trying to bring you in. It looks like I did. I don't know another solution to bring you in. All right. And so our opening prayer, if you would just take a few moments to just take a deep cleansing breath. And just one more time, a deep and cleansing breath. We are made in God's image likeness. The real of us is spirit. And right now we come together for a deepened understanding of this connection. And Spirit, I just ask for the words to communicate this lesson. I ask for the wisdom to move out of the way and to allow you to speak through me. And I give thanks and praise that every prayer is answered. And I thank you for whatever breakthroughs may come this evening. We welcome them. Our hearts are open. Our minds are receptive. The soil is ready for a brand new idea. Let your spirit flow into us easily and effortlessly. Thank you, God. In the name and through the power that is in the name of Christ, we let it be so. And so it is. So why spiritual identity matters. You are a soul that has forgotten its divine identity, a soul now struggling to remember in the midst of time and in the confusions of experiences that you are the living son of the living God. I revisit this conversation over and over and over again in terms of who are you, why who you are matters, because I'm continually peeling back the onion for myself as well as what I share with you, and hopefully you hearing, this is the same slide that I touch every week. And hopefully it's peeling back the onion for you too, and it is driving home the value and the importance of your spiritual identity. How you identify yourself is how you show up. How you identify yourself is how you show up. If you carry the identity of someone who is never late, then you never show up late. There are no instances. You pre-plan and pre-plan your pre-planning so that you are never late. How you identify yourself determines how you show up. So if you have not identified as the living son of the living God, then there's no way for you to show up as who you really are. And the thing is that you can be something and not know it and not acknowledge it. And so you will behave as if it is not who you are, even though it is part of your makeup. How you identify yourself determines what you expect from yourself. How you identify yourself determines what you expect from yourself. If you do not understand that within you exist all potentialities, that there is nothing off limits to you, that anything that you will supply the consciousness for, you may have. If you do not understand that, it is as if it is not true for you. You know, I say this and I use this example because I think we can all relate to it. And given that my audience is, you know, Gen X and above, maybe I got a couple of millennials here and there, but, you know, we're Gen X. And they can do. And I can't tell you how many times that there has been some function that I will discover that I didn't know was even possible with this phone because I didn't know it was possible. So I couldn't even do anything with it. And so if you don't know yourself to be the living son of the living God and understand the fullness of what that means, then you can't do anything with it. It's as if, and that's why The Incredibles is one of my favorite movies, because it's like we're these superheroes. We've got all this power, and we're walking around bumping into one another, creating messes because we don't know who we are. And so we've got to create something, and so we create drama instead of creating extraordinary experiences. Because we will create. The Spirit of God will pour out into expression. But when you don't know who you are, you pour it out into confused experiences. How you identify yourself determines what you even give of yourself. It determines what you're even willing to share of yourself, because you don't even know you have it.
Can't hear you, Sherri. She's frozen.
The ability to affect billions of people on the planet. But if you only know yourself as a sinner and a worm of the dust, if that's how you think of yourself, then you can't show up and impact the world. A gender neutral way is there. If you don't understand yourself to be the living child or the living progeny of the living God, then how can you ever show up and be the spiritual giant that you are? So your spiritual identity is so important. It matters more than you. Pick this person to focus on this week. One, because I just think he's a fabulous speaker, and he is actually a UFBL ordained minister. I don't know if you guys know that. He is a UFBL ordained minister, and he actually started the ministry in South Florida, and then when he realized that his calling was not to pastor a church, he brought in the Reverend Dr. Mary Tumpkin to assume responsibility for that ministry. And the reason I love his story is because when he was a young kid, he was born in an abandoned building, he was adopted, and he was labeled educable mentally retarded. And it was not, I'm getting goosebumps even telling this story, and it was not until he got into, I want to say the 4th grade, but at a grade which, Ray says it looks like we're having bandwidth issues. How's everybody? Can you guys see me? How are we doing?
You keep going in and out, Sherri. You keep going in and out. You're freezing.
No. Okay.
But keep going. Keep going.
All right,
going
Google
in and out.
Hangout. All right, Google Hangout. I see a problem here. Okay, where is this problem? Let's go here. All right. Hopefully it will solve the problem on a different network. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, guys. You know what I'm going to start doing is double taping this. This is what this is teaching me. Is I'm going to double tape it, so then I have this recording, but then I also have a secondary recording that is capturing this information. Mercy. So anyway, Les Brown is who I was talking about, and Les Brown was labeled educable mentally retarded at a very young age. And it wasn't until he got into a teacher's class who was trying to teach him, I don't remember the concept, he's told the story before and I've heard it. But he said to the teacher, I'm sorry, because he carried that label with him, I'm educable mentally retarded. And the teacher said, don't ever let someone's opinion of you become your reality. And praise God, he heard that teacher and changed his entire life. And so many of us have been given labels. And this is why that identity is so important, is that we've been given labels, and these labels are false. They are false. And we've designed our lives as if these labels are true, and they're not. And so you must have the audacity to believe that you are the living son of the living God and to behave as such. And then his quote, it's not over until you win. I just love that. Another person who represents this, and I think you guys have heard this story before, Jim Carrey, when he was a struggling actor, drove up on Mulholland one day and was looking out and thinking about being an actor. And he is a proponent of the law of attraction, and he practices visualization and transcendental meditation. And he wrote a check to himself for $10 million for acting services rendered, and he kept it in his wallet. 7 years later, he receives a check for $10 million for his work on Dumb and Dumber. You create your own world. You must set your identity. And the reason I love this quote here is because it speaks to what I'm going to talk about coming up, which is, this is a Jim Carrey quote, my focus is to forget the pain of life. Forget the pain, mock the pain, reduce it, and laugh. Forget the pain, mock the pain, reduce it, and laugh. The pain that we carry is part of the fake world. But we'll get into that. So what is the real? What is the fake? The real world versus the fake world. The real is that which has actual existence. It is not theoretical or imaginary. The fake is that which is imaginary, hypothetical, or false. We have, at this point, taken what we can see with our eyes as real. And that is simply not true. What we can see with our eyes are merely illusions. They are the fruit of things that we have thought. What we can see with our eyes is merely the fruit of what we have thought. And you know this to be true intuitively. Everything in the three-dimensional world is in a state of flux or in a state of change. Nothing is remaining the same. It's constantly changing, and its changes are moving according to the thoughts in your mind. And so you and I can walk into the same environment and see two totally different things based on what you and I are thinking individually in our own minds. What is real is that which never changes. The only thing that ever and never changes is God. Everything else changes. This body is going to change. I didn't look like this a day ago. I didn't look like this 10 years ago. I won't look like this tomorrow because it's constantly changing, always reflecting the development of thought in the mind. What is real, what is lasting, is the life force, not the personality, because the life force has no personality. All it knows to do is press out as life. So again, I said this in the blog post, and I mean this. This is the place where most people get off the New Thought bus. And they file this under the "you done gone too far" category. The real is what you cannot see. It is the intangible. It is the inexhaustible. It is the unending power presence of God. Not even powerful, because powerful would suggest that there's a possibility of powerless. God just is power, right? We have power, but God is power. So the real is what is permanent. The fake is what is impermanent. Something that is permanent, it continues in the same state without any change. And the only thing that does that is God. The impermanent is that which does change. It does not continue in the same state without change. And so life, not this expression that you and I are talking about, meaning, you know, you come here and you've got a birth date and a death date, or an entry point and an exit point. Life is eternal. It is permanent. This is why we call death a transition, because you cannot kill. That you cannot kill and you cannot die. You can shed this body, but you cannot die. You cannot be born. You can transition into this plane of existence, but you cannot be born. You don't have a beginning date. Children aren't less spiritual because they're like tiny. And you know this. You've seen kids come on the planet, and it's like an old soul. I see Jordan. The first thing he does is he runs to a drum. Runs to a drum. I don't know what he brought with him, but I do know that it's got something to do with music. Because he's always beating on something. Always. There's like a rhythm inside of him. And when music is on, he sits up and he pays attention. We had a kid in our church. He was the son of the musical director. And we would see him, and his son would come, and he would, at 2, he'd get on the drums. And he just had a beat within him at 2. And of course, you know, where you have talent just simply tells you where you need to develop. But so he had to develop that. But the point is that you didn't begin on whatever your birth date is, and you don't end on whatever your so-called death date is. And it's why you don't need to fear death, because it's just a movement from one plane of existence to the next. And we exit in a number of ways. Now, that's a different conversation. Here, I'll say this. I won't shy away from it. There is no point in your existence where you abdicate the power of choice. There is nothing that happens in your experience that happens outside of your power of choosing it. Period, point blank, end of story, no exceptions. We act as if that someone can come and act on us from an external, but there are no external forces acting on you. That's just not how life is lived. Life is lived from the inside out. You may not be able to explain how and the why and all the different things that happen to you, but the truth of who you are is that you are always at cause in your experience, even when you feel yourself to be at effect to or victim to things that are happening around you. You are always at cause. And so the waking up process, This is what we're talking about. This whole series is all about waking up the spiritual giant within, empowering the giant within. And really the empowerment is just you becoming aware of it and then living from the basis of it. But one of the most important things is to get it, truly get it, that you are a spiritual being, period. Not even a spiritual being having a human experience. You are a spiritual being, period. Constance says there are more spiritual as babies, I believe, than they are in tune with that God essence. I don't see. There's no measurement in spirit, right? So we measure things in the three-dimensional world. There's no degree in spirit. It's not like you're like more spiritual and like over here and less spiritual over there. There's a point of being aware of who you are. And I don't think that that becoming as a little child is to go back to that level of ignorance where you don't understand how the world works. They move on just kind of an intuition in terms of how the world works and how to get what it is that they need, and they're constantly learning. So I believe that it is keeping the wisdom of what your years have accumulated, and learning to reawaken that imagination, reawaken that freshness, and somehow, you know, the way that our educational system, and I don't mean like the school system, but I mean the way that we educate ourselves on the planet, we don't value that imaginativeness. You know, we don't make it a priority to keep it alive, but we could have public policy that influences keeping it alive if we thought it was important. In fact, we probably would have public policy that influences the same way we have, you know, family leave, because we believe it's important that parents are with their children in the first years of their life. That if we believe that it was important to develop who we are inwardly, public policy would reflect that. Constance says, as a New Thought student, it takes some knowing that all souls are creating and reaping the law of attraction no matter how it shows up. It is. This is work. It's easy to show up and say, somebody else is responsible for my life. You know, I see this on the internet, especially on Facebook, because that seems to be like my news channel these days. People go, you know, won't he do it? Referring to God, won't he do it? Not if he can't do it through you. It can't happen through if you are not willing, it cannot happen through you. In God, you live, move, and have your being. But in you, God lives, moves, and has expression. In order for the spirit to express in the world, it must come through a consciousness. It must come through a consciousness. There are no violations to that spiritual law. And so if you say no to it, no, he won't do it. Sorry. You got to get you receptive to the power and the presence of God. You've got to open up you to the power and the presence of God. And if you don't say yes to it, baby, it can't show up. It can't show up at all because you have not said yes in your world. Somebody else can say yes and it'll show up in their world, but it needs your yes. I did this. Okay, so okay, let me go here. So this is my little. I did a little infographic. I posted it on Facebook. Hang on, guys. Let me get that. I posted it on Facebook for you guys. Gotta get that. And so you can download it. This is my little. Uh-oh, that doesn't do me any good, Sherry. That's not what I want. Ah, here we go. All right. So I did this infographic, kind of the real world versus the fake world. And this is just comparing two worlds. And I hope you can read this. I tried to make it as big as possible. In the real world, God is recognized as he is. And I love the way that she expresses this. In the fake world, God is not recognized. In the real world, God is recognized as he is. In the fake world, God is not recognized. And I'm going to explain more what I mean by that. That's not what I want to do. You are native to the real world. In it, you have union with God, sustenance, and eternal being. You adventure into the fake world. You wrestle with its shadows. You plead with its irrationalities. You clasp its phantom forms to your bosom to extract rest from their restlessness. You deceive yourself so thoroughly. This is page 59 I'm reading from. You deceive yourself so thoroughly that you finally cease to remember what you are, and you become a victim of spiritual amnesia. There is a difference between the real and the fake. I got a voice here. Devon, I'm going to mute you, honey, okay? All right. Okay. Yeah, and Trey, you can try to mute yourself because I still hear you. All right. Yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. You are native to the real world. In it, you have sustenance and you have union with God, sustenance, and eternal being. You adventure into the fake world and you wrestle with the shadows of the fake world. And think about that. Whatever it is that's going on in your life, you are wrestling with it. Whatever your problem is, if it's losing weight, if it's trying to keep your house, if it's trying to struggle to pay your car note, whatever it is, it's like you're wrestling with these phantoms as if they are real. And they're not. They are ghosts. And you gotta get that. Again, this is the red pill and the blue pill. And I was looking for my quote on the Matrix because Neo, and I posted it on the Facebook page. Neo walks into well, first of all, Trinity is standing outside the door, which I think I love the names of these people. Trinity is standing outside the door and she's talking to him and she says, look, whatever you do, be honest. And this is the thing, this is the call to all of us, is that whatever you do, be honest. Own where you are. If this is too much, say, you know what, Sherri, everything else you just said, I'm good, but this stuff, I can't do this. And that's what I said. A lot of people, this is where they get off the New Thought bus. They're like, this is just a little too much. And he goes in, and he sits down, and Neil says, I've been waiting for this moment. And this is the quote that he gives him. He says, you take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is the red pill, blue pill moment. It is so hard to grasp. The fake world has such a hold on our consciousness, on our belief system. Our faith is in what we can see and not in what we cannot see. And we say we're walking by faith, and then we attribute experience to everything outside of ourselves. And that is just not how it works. You are always at cause. You are always in charge of your experience. You are always the consciousness that's either saying yay or nay to the power and presence of God inside of you. You are, and sometimes your yes may be an unconscious yes, and sometimes your no may be an unconscious no. I had an experience when right after college. I started a women's theater company, co-founded a women's theater company, and we young girls, didn't know what we weren't supposed to be able to do, so we did everything. We had grants and we had a board of directors, and we got written up in all the papers about this like hotshot new company that's like in Philadelphia, and then we were selling out the house, and we finished the second production, and we ended up in debt. Now, my response to this debt was that it just became paralyzing because this was like a larger sum of money than I knew how to come up with. But my roommate swung into action, and she started doing bake sales, yard sales, This is the days before eBay, so she was selling whatever she could, and over the course of and it was a little bit here, a little bit there, and over the course of the summer, she ended up raising the money that we needed to retire the debt. Meanwhile, this was just more than I knew how to handle. It was like, I don't know what to do with this, and it was overwhelming. And so the thing is that you don't have to say yes to something in order to be saying yes to it, right? You can just behave your way into it. And so one of us was saying no to the debt, and the other was saying yes. And so there are lots of things that we sometimes say yes to that we don't even realize we're behaving our way into it. And then we cry foul and we say, these are the things that are making my life unfair, but we have behaved our way into the experience. And so waking up spiritually is taking full responsibility for everything that you are saying yes to and being consciously aware of it. Being consciously aware of it. Sometimes you're saying yes and it's like, God, I don't know how to stop saying yes. Help me say no to whatever it is you want to get rid of. Help me say no to it, because I know that in your plan there is no harm for me. So help me to say no to these things that seem to be plaguing my experience. Teach me how to let this go. This is what the prayer is. All it is, do it for me. Not if you don't have a consciousness. It can't come if you don't supply the consciousness. If you won't shape your mind to hold the money that you're asking for, the money has no way to get to you. If you won't shape your mind to hold the health that you're asking for, it has no way to get to you. So when you pray for something, you begin asking, help me have the consciousness for it. That's what you're praying for. Give me because whatever you supply the consciousness for, it comes to you it sticks to you like glue. You couldn't make it go away from you. So you want the consciousness for it. There's a consciousness to having health. There's a consciousness to having wealth. And there's a consciousness to having happiness. Happiness doesn't just drop out of the sky. You develop it. It doesn't just happen. You got to remove the things that are interfering with it. And if you don't remove the things that are interfering with it, then happiness is a hit or miss thing. Some days you feel good, some days you don't. Because you live it in the fake world. Ray says, I agree that babies are much more in tune with the infinite. I love talking with children who are expressing their imaginative nature. It's so pure and uplifting to be in their company. It is. It is. I tell you, watching Jordan is just an explorer. Every time I turn around, we were at the park, and he's just running here, there, everywhere. Let me check the chat room. Kenesha says, I would like to behave my way out now. Devon says, I took the red pill 5 years ago. I know that's right. I know that's right. Yes, yes. It is. You got to make the decision. Neil said, took the red pill a long time ago. Yes, yes. It's either that or stay asleep. And you really do have to make a decision. You really do have to make a decision. And this is why I love some of the things I hear from some of these other ministries. I think that they're wonderful. But please understand what the difference is. Please understand that when you say somebody is new thought, that what you are saying is, wait. They understand that there is a real world and there is a fake world. And the fake world is what you can perceive with your senses, and the real world is what you perceive through your intuition. In the real world, God uses you. When God uses you, manifestation sustains you, encourages you, soothes you. In the fake world, you use God. And when you use God, manifestation fails you, mocks you, hurts you. And so this is to the thing, Marvin, you left a question for me about, am I a free agent? Yes, you are 100% a free agent, because you either have to say yes to the spirit within you or you say no to the spirit. There is no sitting on the fence. There is no sitting on the fence as far as saying yes and no to God. And whether you should be in one state or another, meaning geographically, is only a question the spirit within you can answer. No one can give you that answer. No one outside of you can give you that answer. Now, keep in mind, it may be possible that as you are praying for something, someone may say something that answers the question that God has for you, but you'll know it. It won't be like somebody, oh, I got a word for you from the Lord. Really? You got a word for me from the Lord? All right, keep that. So, but it is possible that someone may say something to you and it touches something inside of you and you hear in a fresh way. But it isn't that someone came to you and said, oh, I'm going to be the voice of God for you. Give me a break. Devon says, what, my mama was mad at me. Yeah, I could imagine so. Neil says, what we call real is really a thin veneer. Yes. 1,000 times thinner than the image projected onto a movie screen. Yes. 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 And the thing is that the place where the real and the fake join, because they touch one another, these worlds touch one another, is the place where the non-physical converts into the physical. It's that nexus point. So it's nearer than your own breath. And this is why the psalmist says that the spirit is nearer to you than your own breath. That it's right here. It's right in front of you. And it's having the eyes to see it. It's having the eyes to perceive it. Constance says, Reverend Ann taught that some time ago you cannot straddle the fence. Nope. New thought today and tomorrow, the devil is after you. Thanks for the insight on my city. Yes, thank you, Marva. Thank you for your question, because I think you articulated something that everybody deals with. This is my favorite part of this. Everything you truly want is in the real world, and the fake world offers you its all, but it cannot enrich you. This stuff looks so real. It looks so real, and we want to believe it, but the truth is that it cannot enrich you. I gotta mute somebody. Who am I needing to mute? Might be you, Linda. Can't tell. Anyway, I got a voice. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, Ray, see if you can, because sometimes you have better luck than I do with muting. All right. Let me get back to PowerPoint. All right. So what is real? What is fake? So you do not recognize God when to God you attribute motives and acts contrary to his nature. This is actually a concept that comes from Origen, O-R-I-G-E-N, one of the early church fathers. You cannot attribute to God things that are outside of the character of God. So to say that God tests you, I love what Mary said, a sermon that Mary gave. Said, okay, so an all-knowing God is going to test you to find out what? An omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God is going to test you to discover what? Right? So it is to begin to deal with your concept of who and what God is. To deal with your understanding of who and what God is. If you say God has afflicted me, you do not recognize him. If you say that God's plan for you includes hardships of any sort, you do not recognize him. So in the fake world, you attribute things to God that include pain. In the real world, you recognize that God is good all the time and there is no pain in that good. So why is it so hard to believe in the real? These are 6 things. We are self-guided versus God-directed. And Della would always say, well, who's in charge of your life? If God is in charge, then that there's a look to that. That means that I'm spending time with the Father, that I'm studying whatever your spiritual text is. I study the Bible, but that you are studying a spiritual text in an effort to discern the mind of God. Do you make decisions based on what you can see? Some of us make decisions about where we're going on vacation, about how much money we have. What if God wants to give you a European vacation? Some of us make decisions on our health based on what we think we can do. What if you let go and let the power and the presence experience through you and restore your youthfulness? Again, are you living in the fake world or are you living in the real world? Because the fake world makes decisions based on what you can perceive with your five senses. Living in the real world says, Spirit, how do you want to express through me? What do we want to do next? Because we're in this partnership together. What good can we do next? Whom can we go and serve next? So, again, you want to ask yourself that question. Am I God-directed or am I self-guided? Because if I'm self-guided, I'm making decisions based on what I can see with my own physical eyes. It's so hard to believe in the real because we believe in the myth of time. Time is a man-made concept. The past and the future exist entirely in your mind. The past and the future exist entirely in your mind. The only time is now. The only time is now. Here's the problem with the future, right? With the future lures you, right? The future makes you feel like, hold on, Devon, I'm trying to bring you in. I don't know what's happening there. The future, it lures you with its anticipation. But here's the thing. The promises that it makes are handcuffed to being postponed. You think, I'm going to be great tomorrow. But you cannot be great tomorrow if you don't begin to be great today. There is no tomorrow. Tomorrow, today, tomorrow and yesterday are both in your imagination. And the only way they stay alive is through your memory. The only time is right now. If you don't give your best in this moment right now, there is no you being great tomorrow. They teach you that when you go and practice, and we have this idea of like things like in the future, you know, I'm getting to this, but really we're moving from now to now to now to now to now. We're constantly in the now because now is the only time that there is. Living in the present, in the future, is one of my members. She would say, it puts you in a trick bag, and so will living in the past. So you've got to show up with all of who you are right now in this moment. Okay, this is on page 62. What is not now ready for you never will be ready for you. You've got to understand that what is ready for you is ready for you right now. And you've got to have the audacity and the spiritual wisdom to call it forth, even when you do not see physical evidence of it. So what is not now ready for you will never be ready for you. But all that you can think is what you can have right now. All that you can think is what you can have right now. All that you can think is what you can have right now. Marvin says, there is no try. There is do or not do. Yes, Yoda. Yes. Thank you. That's it. Oh, this one I love. We are caught up in where we came from. People get all high and mighty. I descended from the so-and-so and the so-and-so. This is the thing. And I looked this up, y'all. Genealogy is and I didn't know this. I found this amazing. I had never gotten into you know, the whole genealogy thing, meaning I did the Ancestry.com test to say, like, where you come from, you know, like your history or whatever, but that was kind of the extent of what I did. So I didn't know that it was as popular as it is. It's $1 billion industry. People are paying as much as $1,000 to $18,000 a year for a researcher to tell them where they come from. Your ancestors can't live your life. Wherever you came from, it can't do nothing for you. I mean, really, seriously. Wherever you came from, it honestly cannot do anything for you. It cannot make your choices for you. And so this is what she says, and I think it's just powerful. This is on page 63. She says, cease to be proud of ancestors and achieve for yourself. An honorable line of ancestry attests high-minded companionship. It's great. You got some good people you come from. But the line will deteriorate if you don't keep your life honorable. Evolution halts or hastens in you. Ancestry is neither a liability nor an asset. Your life is an individual responsibility. It is an individual opportunity. Your ancestors, as great as they are or as shameful as they cannot make your choices for you. They simply cannot. Your grandmother, who you love, cannot come and think your thoughts for you. So getting caught up in where you came from is a trick bag, to borrow from my members' terminology. The only ancestor that matters in your lineage is the you of today, because it is the you of today that is giving birth to the you of tomorrow. And so your only goal, effort, what have you, is to transcend the you of yesterday. That's what your work is. That's the ancestry you need to be concerned with. Who was I yesterday, and am I better than that chick? Because if I'm not better than that chick, I'm not doing my work. I need to reach beyond where I am, because life is a progressive thing. And how do I know that? You can look at how all of creation moves. It always moves from center to circumference, from the middle to the ends, right? It grows out, it expands. It starts small, starts like a tadpole, grows into a frog, starts as a puppy, grows into a dog, starts as a kitten, grows into a cat. So you can see this upward and outward trend in all of creation. So that's how you know your life is meant to continue to expand. Continue to expand, continue to expand. Oh, we believe in the myth of age. Please challenge yourself on this. Years do not make you old. You don't grow old because the earth swings around the sun. The life force within you cannot age. It is like God, eternal. This is why you are the living son of the living God, because the life force within you cannot age. It has no beginning. It has no end. It is eternal. Your responsibility as a spiritual being, as the living son of the living God, is to keep yourself young, and you do that by learning new things. You do that by learning new things. She has this quote, and I thought it was just so, I thought it was fire. And I can't say it because this kind of language today wouldn't go. It works like in the time that she wrote this book in the early 1900s. She says, y'all would think I was harsh if I said this. This is what she writes. If you say that because of years you cannot do the work you once did, I will answer your charge against yourself by saying that life does not expect you to do the work you once did. There is a better work for you. The only person who continues to do the work that he once did is the imbecile who makes no progress in mind and body. Life demands growth, change, progress of you. I read that, like I was underlining literally like everything in the text, because I told someone, I said this Imelda Shanklin is my new Woman Crush Wednesday. It's a Facebook term, but my point is that it was fire. It was like you're not meant to do what you did when you were 20. You're not meant to do what you did when you were 30. You're not meant to do what you did when you were 40, because you're constantly growing. You are the living son of the living God. And so if you keep trying to do what you used to be able to do, it's as if saying, this is all that God can express through me. You're not meant to do that. There is a better work for you. And if you will reach for it, it will enliven you. It'll restore the vitality to those areas of your life, of your body, that have stagnated. Marvin says, ouch, don't pull your punches, Reverend Shanklin. Listen, the only thing I could do was quote it. I wouldn't write that today. That kind of language would just not fly. Oh, this is why we find it hard to believe in the real. We keep the past alive. We keep it alive. Talk to somebody. What they gonna tell you? What happened? How is your week? And you go into a whole litany, and it's like the only thing that matters is what's going on in this present moment. Our whole conversations are set up so that we can talk about the past. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about things that are good or things that are bad. She writes, a review of former joys is a mode of vanity, and a review of sorrows is the weakling's plea for a sympathy that will further weaken him. Take your mind off the past, let it go. It can't help, and it is quite sure to hinder you. Now, this is the other part. That's why I said I was underlining everything, and this is why I think I texted someone and I said, this is my new Woman Crush Wednesday. Nothing that you drag into the present is wholly in the past. So if it happened, whatever it is, no matter how bad it is, if you keep it alive by your conversation, it's not fully in the past because you brought it and you're giving it life in your present. If you tie yourself to memories of events in the fake world, you become as one stumblingly walking backward up the slope of endeavor, tugging at a chain gang of ghosts. Dead things don't move of themselves. I said, this woman here, I love the way that she writes, but it's true. You keep this stuff alive, and it's strangling you. It's choking you to death. Let it go. Let it go. And here's the thing. Get some techniques for letting it go, because we sustain a lot of psychological wounds, small little cuts over our lives. But they build up, and sometimes they get to a place where it's like, I don't even know how to let this go. This grief is overwhelming me in such a way, I don't even know how to back away from it. Or I had several traumas, one behind another, and then you add to it loneliness and rejection, and it's like, how do I get rid of all of this? So some of us need some emotional first aid where, we have been so piled on by life, and we never handled the psychological cuts when they were just cuts. But now that we're like in our 40s and 50s and 60s, they're like gushing wounds. And, we come up next to somebody and we're hemorrhaging. And so you might need to get some help to be able to let it go. But the point is that you can let it go. It is possible. So that doesn't mean that you won't have work to do to let it go, to heal yourself, to restore yourself. I don't mean to make light of that, because I have things that I need to let go. So I'm certainly not making light of that. I'm just merely saying, begin with, I let these ghosts go. I'm not carrying a chain gang of ghosts. I love that term. That just made me smile all the way on the inside. Constance says, it's like what Iyanla says, we keep picking at the wound. Yes, we keep picking at the wound. Marvin says, let's cancel the bad reruns of our lives. Yes. Last one, we give life to imagined horrors. This is my image of a ghost. Each world has its inhabitants. In the real world, there are God and his idea, which is you. And in that world, there are living potentialities, vibrant, eager. There is endless progress in the real world. The fake world is inhabited by ghosts. Every negative mental picture is a ghost story. Every recital of what went wrong in your life is a ghost story. Delineations of symptoms of whatever your latest illness is a ghost story. To relate a hard luck story is to relate another ghost story. So stop telling ghost stories. It's like you believe in it. It's so real, but it's not. It really is not. Devon says, if you depend on a being outside of you, you are spiritually handicapped. I know that's right. However, Neil says, however, the fake world, the consensus reality is compelling. It is constantly in your, yes, It is constantly in your face. I have to stand on tiptoe to look past it. Yes, yes. But here's some ways that we can do that, though. One of the things that is that I find that helps me greatly, besides the meditation and the daily prayer, is a daily discipline with Scripture. A daily discipline with Scripture, and sitting down, and I'll take, for example, like I'm working through the letter of James right now, and I'm on the 5th chapter. And so I'll take the 5th chapter and I'll work with the 5th chapter for 7 days. And each day I look for, like, okay, what can I hold on to? What's going to sustain me, from this chapter or passage. It may not be a chapter every time. And that helps to, like, ground me. So you need these kinds of tools. But also, if music is a thing for you, keep some good music on. Again, what you're doing is you're keeping your mind in, and your focus, your attention, because that's really where it is. You're keeping your attention in the real world. And so, in review, thank you guys for today. Number 1, these are the 6 reasons we hold on to our belief in the fake world. Number 1, we are self-guided versus God-directed. Learn to rely on the real world, which is the world of the mind of God. Number 2, we believe in the myth of time. To be spiritually asleep is to be very, sometimes painfully aware of time. Number 3, we are caught up in where we came from. Your dead ancestors cannot live life for you. Number 4, we believe in the myth of age. You are not meant to do what you could at 20 or 30 or even 40. There is better work for you to do. Number 5, we keep the past alive. Dead things do not move of themselves. And number 6, we give life to imagined horrors. The only horrors meant for you are the ones you imagine for yourself. If you stop imagining them for yourself, they cannot be in your experience. So my call to action: make a decision. You're going to take the red pill or the blue pill. You got to decide what world you're going to live in. And then resolve to manage each day according to the rules of your chosen world. And number 3, leave a comment on this YouTube video with your results. Let me know how that works for you. I'd love to hear what's working, what's not working, and I'm pretty good about responding, within 24 hours to whatever comments are there. Okay, questions. I felt like I was on a marathon. Devon says your ancestors can only assist you. What you mean by that, Devon? What you mean by that? I don't know if I'm buying that. So you got to give me a little clarity on that, because it's you that's got to make the decision. Only you. No, I can't choose for you. I can wish for you. I was having this conversation with my brother because I've been having a conversation with myself. Give me 1 second, about getting back in the gym, and my brother's been going to the gym every day, and I was like, God, I wish there was a way that you could exercise for me, right? And and it's like, it doesn't work like that. I got to be the one to get on the treadmill. What were you gonna say, Devon?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was going to say that for me, my path is a little bit different. Because for one, I'm a starseed.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me,
what does that mean, that you're a starseed? What does that mean? I don't know that term, so just forgive me.
Starseeds are basically we're basically new agers, but see, the thing is that there's different kinds. So it's like if you were born in the 80s, you're a what do they call it? If you were born in the 80s, you're indigo. I was born in the 90s, so I'm a starseed. So my job is to uplift the planet to a higher consciousness. Basically, what you're doing, just from a galactic point of view, if you will. Yeah.
Okay, okay. But how you were saying my ancestors can only assist me. Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, it's just as you said. They can't do everything for you in your life. They can only guide you to certain aspects of it.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
It's like they are the manual for what you are supposed to do next. It is you that is supposed to do the work,
Mhm,
basically.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay. Okay. I have to work with that because for me, my only guide is what the term I use this term, but I mean it in a universal sense is
Hmm.
God.
Right.
And so, I think that I can find inspiration in other stories, whether it's an ancestor or whether it's someone that's not directly through my lineage, but I can find inspiration.
Right.
But if I want to know what to do, I can only go to God for that.
Right.
I can only go to that universal spirit that has no gender, that has no agenda,
Right.
but that is simply all good.
Exactly. And we as star seeds, and I'm speaking for them because I'm the only one here. uh,
Hmm.
but we call in the starseed community, we call God and Goddess, uh
Hmm.
the the higher self is God, and
Hmm.
the divine feminine is the goddess.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And then
Okay.
and then of course we have other names for it, Mother God, the usual
Hmm.
stuff, Mother God,
Sure. Sure.
Gaia, Terra, that sort of thing.
Okay. 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 That's not a discipline that I'm very familiar with. The
I'm just sharing.
Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. That's fine. That's fine. It's just not a discipline that I'm familiar with.
Right.
Um, from my training, that my reliance is on God,
Of course.
the presence that I call God, and I find inspiration. I had a grandmother, a maternal grandmother, like several I think great grandmother, who was what they call a two-headed woman. She had a head in this world, a head in the next. Was the term they used for her, and she was a fortune teller.
Right.
And so people would come to her for readings. And as I understand it, she owned a number of rental properties, and she was just this very empowered person. And so I find inspiration in her story. Um, but I'm not necessarily going to her for what I need to do next. I'm going to the power and the presence of God, because what she is a personality. And
Right.
what I want is the impersonal power and presence of God guiding my experience.
Right. See.
Um,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to read something that Marvin said. Marvin says, "In my dreams, my ancestors encourage me, but they don't tell me what to do."
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
Oh, I was gonna say that I too I too believe in God, but
Mm-hmm.
I also believe in the Divine Mother as well. It
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
it makes me uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
when nothing against you, but
Mm-hmm.
it makes me uncomfortable when people try to. I'm not saying you are. I'm just expressing
I'm
myself.
not taking offense.
Okay, all right.
So just go with it.
Cause when I go, some people get really uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. But
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
some people have a tendency to only refer to God as the masculine
Mm-hmm.
aspect, and
Mm-hmm.
and as um like I said, I broke away from Christianity 5 years ago, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and even when I was an exoteric Christian,
Mm-hmm.
exoteric
Mm-hmm.
meaning that
Mm-hmm.
which is
I
outside.
know exactly what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. So you you know so
Mm-hmm.
so even back then, it always bothered me, because I used to question it, like, okay, if we have a father God, then where's a mother God? Because because the way Christian fundamentalism is spun, it's kind of like, no disrespect to homosexuals, but it's kind of brought from that viewpoint, and it kind of really made me uncomfortable. Like, why do I need to call a man mom? I was like, no, I'm not feeling this. I need to get to know not just dad, but I need to know Mother Mary, Ashura,
Right.
Asar Heru, somebody, because it's like it don't make sense.
Right. And I got some of my New Thought people are saying God is neither male or female, and God is both male and female.
Right.
Right. So yeah, and so we are absolutely in agreement with you. I want to get what Neil said. Neil said life, God, universe, mind, chi, prana, kundalini, all these mean the same thing to me. Before there was male and female, God is. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're saying the same. We are saying the same thing.
Right. So someone in this chat room does know what I'm talking about, because we do know about the chakras and kundalini energy, as well as extraterrestrials and stuff like that. That's basically the whole thing of starseed.
Got it.
Some of us believe that we are extraterrestrials, and I'm one of them. Yeah. Okay.
Marvin says most of us have studied much, and Harold says most of us do. So you're in like-minded company, even though the terms may be different. You're in like-minded company.
Of course, and I am asking for help, because I'm gonna show just a short, because I know you have a time limit, but I recently got into an argument with my mother, and I went upstairs to apologize to her. I didn't cuss at her, but the way I was expressing my feelings to her the way I was expressing my feelings to her was profane, and so I apologized to her, but I said what I will not apologize for is being myself. For one, I have evolved sexual orientation wise. I'm androgynous, and I tried to explain that to my mom, and she thinks I'm a homosexual, and I'm like, no, I'm not a homosexual. You know, I'm just a heterosexual guy that likes to look feminine. Yes, I like to wear eyeliner. Yes, I like to wear clear nail polish. Okay, and I like man bags and flowers. and mood rings. I still want to be with a girlfriend, and I still want to have children. I'm just asking for acceptance. So when she said no, I did cry when she said no, because my entire life I've gotten nothing but negativity, and I was always told no, that I couldn't do something because I was handicapped in a wheelchair, and I'll never be able to get it. You know.
But let me ask you this, because there's a book. Are you a reader?
Yes.
There is a book that I recommend. It's called Emotional First Aid.
Okay.
And what I hear you saying are two different things. I hear you saying, I am this starseed, but as you're describing your experience, you're describing life as if it's happening to you as opposed to happening through you.
Right.
So there's some healing that needs to happen as far as how you are perceiving the things that are happening to you, and a movement to understand that they're happening through you.
Yeah.
And there's an acceptance that you have to have for yourself, because when you fully accept yourself as who you are, as the way that you want to express,
right,
it will remove even from your awareness what other people, it won't touch you emotionally what other people think about the way you've come to express. But I can hear in your voice, not that you won't notice it, not that you're going to put your head in the sand, but it won't resonate with you emotionally. Right. And right now it's resonating with you very deeply, and I can hear it. And what I'm saying to you is that if you understand that you are always at cause, this is work. It's not easy to do, because like Neil said earlier, is that the fake world is in your face, and you almost got to like tiptoe to like look over it to see something else. But everything you just described to me is as if something is happening to you, and nothing is ever happening to you. Everything is always happening through you. And so when there is someone outside of you that is not accepting of you, and it's touching you emotionally, meaning it found your button, because people accept you or not accept you all the time, and it doesn't phase you. But let's say it's your mom or somebody that you've assigned meaning to. Yes. It's touching you emotionally. That's because there's a button in you that needs to be healed.
Yeah.
So take a look at that, and I am going to have to go take another question. So I hear what you're saying, and I thank you very much for expressing that. But work on that, because this is not easy work. I'm not at all making light of this. This is some serious. This is the work. Right. This is the work. Is recognizing who you are, accepting yourself 100% without judgment. And you'll know when you have, because what other people think, including your mom, won't even resonate. Meaning you won't be indifferent to it, but it's a space of compassion. Like, you don't understand. This is how I've chosen to live my life.
Yes.
Marvin says, Carl Jung says we are both male and female. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Constance says, God showing up in a male body, expressing the female quality, soul unfoldment and expansion of what God is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much. Is it Devon or Devin? Devin. Okay. Thank you so much, Devin. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for hanging around.
You're welcome.
I gotta get better. I used to be tight on my hour. Like I was in and out 8 to 9. Now I'm like stretching all into 9:30. I'm gonna get better.
It's my fault. I'm sorry.
All is well. Thank you guys. Have a beautiful week. Thank you so much. I hope, take some time, decide whether or not you're going to take the red pill or the blue pill. Those of you, if you're watching this and you're coming to this after October 8th, the choice is yours. Leave a comment in the YouTube. Let me know whether or not you're taking the red pill or the blue pill. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.